There.
Hi, Tolu. The video is not playing well on my end. I hope it's not just me. Like, I want to confirm if it's my network. Can you still hear me? Oh, okay. It's not just me. Thank you. Just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if it's
Just me.
uh,
Like, I want to confirm if it's my network.
or maybe it's network. Although I just stopped sharing now because you're about to start. It's not playing as well. Wow. Oh, I think maybe it's my network.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. It's not just me. Thank you.
Can
Just
you hear
wanted to
me?
confirm that.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, sorry, I don't know if it's
Just me.
uh,
Like, I want to confirm if it's my network.
or maybe it's network. Although I just stopped sharing now because you're about to start. It's not playing as well. Wow. Oh, I think maybe it's my network.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. It's not just me. Thank you.
Can you hear
Wanted to
me?
confirm.
Can you guys hear me now? I think it's my network though. But can you hear me now?
Yeah, I was
Um,
hearing the thing on a loop as well. I was worried. I'm not quite sure why that
I,
happened.
I think his
But Tolu, are
network.
you speaking right now? If you are, you're
Yes,
sounding
yes,
very low.
I'm sounding very
It's
low.
it's not
Okay.
my device here.
All right. Can you confirm if you can hear me now?
Ah, much better. Yes.
Oh, much better. Oh, awesome. That's cool. I think it's network from my hand, but I actually stopped sharing already, so we just want to start. So, but now that you can hear me, it's fine. That's perfect. Thank you so much. So yes, so beautiful to have everyone here, and I will have the honor to actually introduce Bukola. Bukola is an amazing person, amazing. Let me give you a backstory. So we, myself and my co-founder, one of my co-founders, that's Ayodeji Olugbade, we're at Abuja some years ago. I think that should be 2023 or 2024. I can't remember now. So and then we went for Mastercard Foundation Education Tech conference, and it happened that my flights came early, and then Ayodeji's flight was delayed a day. So I went ahead earlier, and then he stayed back just a day, and I think a day or two. And then he happened during that duration of time, he happened to meet Bukola Shaba, and then he just kept talking about like this guy, this lady, and all of that, and we're like. Okay, amazing, amazing. Funny part was that since last year, Great Plus Africa, because we are very, very passionate about helping people, students and professionals get clarity and also improve themselves in professional development and cognitive abilities and all of that. So we're planning on a vision boarding kind of workshop or webinar last year, and then of course your name popped up. And I did was like, oh no, Bukola is the person to call. I was like, okay, let's check her out. So we went to check you out, and we're like, oh, she's doing amazing, amazing stuff. Like, and then of course we know that bringing her on board here is a lot of sacrifice. This should be a paid session, but we are, as much as we are a business, we are impact driven. So we have often have these free webinars for our member of community, and it's a pleasure to actually have you accept our invitation to do this for free. Of course, it's going to be a short one, but we are very, very, very grateful. So I would be reading Bukola's bio and sharing that on my screen now. Let me try to do that. Where's it? So yes, I think, can you guys see my screen now? I hope so. You can see my screen. Okay. So amazingly, okay, let me go ahead and do that. Yes, I think this is cool. So so Bukola Shaba has over a decade of experience as a communications specialist and a proven track record as a vision board facilitator. Our expertise in corporate communications, media relations, event management, and social media has enabled her to navigate complex projects and drive impactful campaigns. As a vision board coach, she has guided over 1,000 individuals and teams from organizations such as the Coms Avenue, Breakthrough Action, the Baptizing Church, the Elevation Church, Nigeria Youth for Christ, Forge Forward, and the Baptist over the past 6 years, helping and create personalized vision board. TVs, Rubin Nights, NTA's Your Weekend, and other YouTube shows. Because passion for helping others unlock their potential fuels our commitment to delivering transformative coaching experiences. Evening, and we can anticipate the best from the best. And then I want you to do something before I welcome Bukola on board. You all are on the community. If you could do this for me, just go ahead to the community now and type in "we're live." If you are not here, you are wrong. Let me use the Gen Z language. So if you are not here, you're wrong. So you can just go ahead and nudge people up to join up. And while we enjoy this together, yes, just like I said, this is also stream on YouTube. Others will be joining on YouTube as well, and all of that. So join me to welcome Bukola Chaba on this amazing webinar this evening. She's going to be talking on vision boarding, designing the life career and future you desire. Can we give a round of applause with emojis, or just type on the chat section, say welcome Bukola as
Thank you very much, Tolu. Please confirm you can hear me. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me loud and clear. I'm trying not to use any headphones. So
yeah,
that,
yeah.
okay,
Yes,
great.
I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly.
Awesome. So I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a moment. 1 second. Okay, that's it. Please confirm you can see my screen on slideshow.
Yes, I can see your screen on my hand here.
Oh, great. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. And thank you, Tolu, for the invitation and also for the very warm welcome and for reading the bio as well. It's interesting that, I didn't connect you to that trip. But of course, I know Ayodeji pretty well. And, we ended up being in a community together after that trip because he had shown up for one of my events at the time. And I'm so excited to be here. Much like what Great Plus is doing, I think I am also excited to give back. I'm at the phase where I'm like, okay, I've been working for a little bit. If there's a way I can, help somebody else or say something that might inspire somebody else, I'm happy to do it, So when they said, oh, there's no payment involved, I'm like, sure, of course, I'm still happy to do it because this is something that I'm quite passionate about. I did not start it out wanting to make money, right? I feel like the money part was just, was an add-on, really. So today we're talking about vision boarding, designing the life, career, and future that you desire, right? And if you look at the left there, those are keywords I want you to keep in mind: strategy, mission, planning, direction, and vision, right? So those are really key in making this happen. We're going to be discussing vision boarding at some point, but what I'm really here to do today is to think beyond the vision board in itself, because vision board has got a definition, right? You know what, maybe I should ask, show of hands, if you have ever done a vision board. Just put emojis. I'm not sure I can see the chat right now, but just like if your reactions and emojis can go up if you've ever done any kind of vision board, whether virtually, physically. Okay, I see somebody. Oh, now that I'm on full screen, I worry that I might not see everybody. But it's nice to know that some people have got the experience in the room, right? But we're gonna touch on it. But I think that more importantly, let's talk about the process, right? So I always tell people, just to start off, that when it comes to vision boards, and maybe for the sake of people that have never done it, right? A vision board is just a pictorial representation of your goals. That's essentially what it is, right? So it's like, and there's a science to vision board in the sense that there is a science that, says the more you visualize something, the better it sticks in your mind, right? So when you put your goals, when you use pictures to represent your goals, and you constantly pull that in front of your face, somehow there's a connection that is happening in your mind, and it increases the chances of you making those goals happen, right? So that's why if you notice in recent years, there's been a lot of buzz around vision boards. I mean, I did mine for the first time in 2017. I was in grad school in the US at the time. And, a friend that just invited us, was a Sunday, sometime in January, around this time, actually. I think it was just a few days ago. Facebook reminded me. It was around this time in 2017. And my friend is like, hey, you guys show up to the Women's Center. We're doing vision boards. I'm like, what's that? So I showed up with a couple of other friends. I think we're about maybe well over 15 in the room. And she's like, hey, you know what? You guys are going to design your life, right? And then she gave us all these cool magazines. And she's like, just cut it up and put it on. And she provided a trifold board as well. And she's like, cut it up, put it on the board, and design the life that you want, basically. And we did that. And so that was my own introduction to vision boards. And so when I moved back to Nigeria, 2018. And then I moved to Abuja. I'm currently in Abuja. I moved to Abuja in 2019. So when I moved to Abuja, it was around Christmas period in 2019. And I'm like, hey, I want to do something. And I'm like, so I started asking people around, have you guys done vision boards before? And you're like, no, we've not. I'm like, oh, okay. It's a great time, so I brought people together. I used my church, I was lucky to be able to use my church auditorium for free at the time, and brought people, and we did our first vision board, and it was a success, and I've been doing it ever since then. So since 2019, 2020, up until now, and now I guess I'm in the phase of not just coordinating vision board sessions, but also talking about it and teaching. And so all of that is just my intro to say welcome to this session. And I hope that we're going to have a great time together. So I want us to start by doing a quick poll. This one, you're going to have to use the chat box, and I'm going to see if I can pull it up here so I can tell. So the question is, how clear are your 20, sorry. just to be sure I'm reading this right. Okay. How clear are you on your 2026 goals, right? So I didn't want to just use numbers, right? If you notice, I tried to use weather, right? To say, is it foggy? Is it somewhat clear, or is it crystal clear, or is it in between? So it could be in between foggy and, again, where we're trying to get to is crystal clear. But for some of us, it could be in between. For some of us, it's like straight up foggy. You don't even know what this year is going to be about. You don't have any plans. For some people, it's like, oh, I've got an idea, but it's not super clear. And for some other people, they're like, wait, I've been ready since December 2025. Let's go. I'm crystal clear on it. So please put in the chat. I want to know, how clear are you on your 2026 goals? And I'm going to just open the chat now to see what people are writing. Let's see. Oh, I'm seeing crystal clear. I love it. That's nice. Okay. There's only one person. No, I hope they're not. Wait, how does this work? Can I have more people? Oh, okay. So I'm seeing somewhat clear. I think that's what Justin just put in. Victor Bolale is somewhat clear. Great, great. Can I have like two more? I'm just trying to get a sense of where we are in the room. Somewhat clear. Okay. So I think it's safe to say that quite a number of us, wait, let's close this. It's safe to say that quite a number of us are somewhat clear, and that's just for me. It's really not. I guess maybe at the end of the day, I didn't put that in, but at the end of the day, we can come back to this question and see if something would happen, because that's my hope for you as we have this session today, right? So that's what this is about. So the next slide talks about, wait, I need you to move. Yeah, the power of vision, right? And I'm going to spend a lot of time here. I mean, I'm a Christian. If there's any Christian in the house, you already know what they say, right? How does the Bible put it? Oh my goodness. I still checked that scripture today and I've forgotten. Anyway, something around, if you don't have a vision, you're liable to, I don't know if it's destruction, but basically if you don't have direction, if you don't have a vision, then you could end up anywhere, right? I always like this example of, you get to a motor park and they are calling, there are people going to the south, going to the north, going to the west and east and all over the place, right? So you need to know, where am I going, right? To be able to know the right bus to take, to be able to, so vision is very powerful. And just a few things to talk about here, right? So what vision does for us is that it helps us with growth, right? When you're looking, vision is just having an idea of where you want to go, what you want to do, right? And so if you have that, then you can measure growth, right? So for instance, if my vision is to be the best public speaker or top 5 public speakers in Nigeria, for instance, right? If I have that as a clear vision, then at some point I have to ask myself, what are the metrics that I'm going to use to judge if I'm becoming that, right? Because don't forget, I have to also put a timeline to it, right? So if I'm saying top 5 public speakers, am I saying for 2026? Am I saying in the next 5 years? Am I, so anyway, so your vision is to have a bit of clarity in that sense, have an idea of where you're going, right? Because it will help you with your growth. It will help you with your decision making. So if I want to become a public speaker, and Hilda Bassi comes to me and says, oh, Bukola, I'm trying to do another world record, right? All of this are just, random weird examples, right? I'm trying to achieve another world record and I'm going to be cooking and I just need you to come and help me cook. Does that line up with my vision of wanting to become a public speaker? No, it does not. So if I'm making that, I mean, I could still choose, let's assume Hilda Bassi is my friend. I could still choose to help, but I'm going to know that that activity does nothing for my vision. It's just something I'm doing to help a friend or for fun or whatever that is, right? So, but when you have a clear vision, it helps you your decision making so that as you're making decisions, you're looking at, this is where I want to go. So as someone who wants to become a public speaker, I'm saying, what books am I reading? Who am I looking out for? Who are the people that show up on my Instagram feed, right? Because again, you know the way the algorithm works. The more type, if you start listening to a type of content, it will start to suggest more of such. So is it Nia Adesanya that I'm listening to? Is it Sam Adeyemi that is, so who are the people I'm listening to? Or am I listening to musicians and actors, who are not public speakers? So basically my point is, vision helps you with growth. Vision helps you with decision making. And of course, vision helps you with fulfillment, right? So at the end of the day, you're able to say, I achieved that. Or I was going to achieve that, but then they did a list of 100 people and my name appeared on number 90. Am I top 5? No, but at least I've entered the list. So there's a sense of, I'm on the journey, right? And that gives me a measure of fulfillment per time. So just wanted to say, vision helps with growth, decision-making, and fulfillment. And when it comes to setting goals, right, you already know these are things, a vision is where you start from. Where do you want to go, right? That's something key. We're going to get to the point where we're actually going to set goals and whatnot, but just wanted to start out. And I wanted to give an example here of some of the mistakes that we often make. And I see this a lot. People have asked me at different fora about the pitfalls of vision boards, right? What do people typically get wrong? Or maybe even with goal setting in general sometimes, right? It's that a lot of times we are doing wishful thinking, nice to have. And I put an example here. This is a very random example, wishful thinking is saying that you are setting your goal for the year. You say, I hope my relationship with my siblings improve this 2026, sha. You hope that your relationship with your siblings would improve. It's wishful thinking. You are hoping. Okay, great. I mean, it's nice to hope. If you're a Christian, there's a place of hope, right? But goal setting would require that you may put some action into that, right? To say, what exactly are you going to do to achieve that thing that you want, right? So here, I now extended the example to say, I will call my siblings every Sunday to improve our relationship. Now you've moved from just, I hope it will improve, to now saying that, I'm going to call, that's one action. Every Sunday, you've put a timeline to it, right? And I'm sure you're all familiar with SMART goals. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but so you want to make sure at every point that you're setting goals. But something I now realized recently is that it doesn't end with those SMART goals. The SMART goals are fantastic and it could work, but I found myself setting SMART goals. And at some point, I just stopped doing them. So I started to ask myself, why is that happening? And I realized that I am not attaching a why. I'm not allowing my vision to really dictate the goal setting process, because it's your vision is your why. Your vision is the big thing you're trying to do, and so all of these decisions or goals tie into that vision, right? So I realized that it's important for me not just to stop at setting the goals, but I must ask myself at every point, why is this goal important to me, right? And so the example I put here is I will schedule a call with my siblings for every Sunday to improve our relationship, so that's my why, right? In some cases, it could be because, right? So that I can honor our mother's desire for us to be closer, right? So the days that I'm too lazy to stand up, the days that I feel like I'm too busy, I'm going to think, in this random example, let's assume the mother is now dead, right? Or maybe she's not dead. Maybe she's in some village somewhere, right? But you love your mother and you want to honor her desire. And maybe you're the first child and she's saying, see, it's your responsibility to bring your siblings together, right? Like I said, random example. But yeah, so it's very important. So you will see the difference between wishful thinking, which is just, I hope, to I would do it at this time. I would do it this, this is how often I'm going to do it. To what is really what will make it more intentional is including that why, which I've called life design, right? So I'm moving from wishful thinking to goal setting, which sometimes can be short term, to something that is more, you can embody as part of your life, right? So, and I put a quote there. I saw this quote and I thought it was great. Vision without action is merely a dream. Dreams are great, but sometimes dreams are that. They're just dreams and they don't move beyond that, right? Also, if you act without having a vision, you're just passing time. You're just doing activity, right? But when you put vision and action together, I mean, the sky is your limit. Well, as the quote says, vision with action can change the world. So just to remind you that in your process, vision is key. You want to make sure that there's something you're looking for. And then you understand that why you're doing that is, this is going to affect your growth, it's going to affect your decision, and it will affect whether you're fulfilled in life or not. If you don't decide on a direction, then you're just going to be doing activity, anywhere belly face. Today is Onitsha, oh yeah, I'm going to go now. Tomorrow is Badon, oh yeah, now, And at the end of the day, a whole year is going to pass, and you're like, wait, what did I do this year? And it would not. So please, the first place to start is to ask yourself, what is the vision for my life? Like I said, we'll get to the actual vision board. I'm just going to do a bit of talk and then we'll move that. I want to tell you about 2 vision boards, right? So I call this a tale of 2 vision boards. So the one on the left is one that I did for myself, and the one on the right is one that somebody did who showed up for one of my sessions. And this is quite interesting. So I'm going to start with mine, right? Gosh, I'm looking at the time, so I would have wanted to engage us to get some of our opinions on what we see and all of that, but we don't have much time. But I've put some notes under that just to explain what this is about, right? So I put a bunch of, if you see it, healthy food. Oh, I want to lose weight. I think I put a gym photo there. In the middle, I put this woman that I love so much. In the Dimuneli, I put one outdoor bank who I also love. She's a creative. I put Akiomi, is it Akiomi now? Yeah, Akiomi from Africa Development Bank. I forget his last name now. So I put these 3.
You mean
I'm sorry, say that again?
you mean additional, Akumi additional?
Akinomi additional, thank you very much, right? And his wife, right? So I put those 3 people in the middle of it, and then I have all these random things. I mean, long story short, these were pretty images. If you ask me where's this vision board today, I don't know. I don't know. I've lost it, right? Because at the time I did it, I was at the start of this process in a sense. This was, if you notice, I did this for 2020, which happened to be COVID year, So long story short, none of these things. I didn't lose the weight. I did not meet in DD. I think I met one down the line. It was just a nice thing that I had on my wall for a while. So I put there that, pretty images, vague hopes, no clear strategy, no accountability, right? Meanwhile, if you look at the one on the right, so I was hosting a session. They didn't happen at the same time, by the way. This happened 2020. This happened, the one on the right, I think this was a session from December 2020. So I was hosting it, and the space that I use is actually like a tech founder, who is also my family member. So it showed up. So it's like it showed up in this chairman, when Egbon shows up for your event. And I'm like, so I gave him a board. We went through the process. And when, shortly into it, he said it was done. Bros, you can't be done now. Like when people show up for this thing, 1 hour, 2 hours, people are still saying, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. How are you done? So it shows me his board, and he's got this 3 images with sticky notes, very specific things that he wants to. And he said, these are the 3 things I want to do so that will be 2021. So these are the 3 things I want to do in 2021. And I'm like, are you sure? We've got so many magazines. Well, and he's like, Bukola, I thought about it. I'm clear on why I want to do this. I know what this is about. At the time, this is a tech founder who was moving. If you look at this picture, it was moving into the media space, right? So he wanted to convene a community. He wanted to tell stories. he said something about being the light, right? Which I think still ties up with the storytelling. And he didn't do more than this. He had just 3. Do you know what happened? He called me up, I think it was around February, if I'm not mistaken, of the following year. And he brought me to a space in town. Now, this is from, like I said, I did the event at his office, because the tech founder, so he's got a tech office. He brought me into a new office, right? Into a new space. I'm like, what am I doing? And it's like, oh, because the studio is going to be here. The people are going to meet there. I don't know what I want to do with this space yet, but, long story short, he achieved his vision board or whatever goal and vision that he set within a couple of months. What was the difference? It was clear. So if there's one message I want you to hold on to today, it's not about putting 100 pictures on a board. It's pretty, okay. Mood board, it will make your room fine. That would be nice. But that will not help you achieve your goals. If you don't achieve clarity, you must have clear goals. And don't stop at clear goals. You must know why those goals are important. So this man came to the point where he said, I've been doing tech for over a decade. I've made money. I'm a big boy in town now. I have millions in the account. I want to do something different. I want to be challenged, but I don't want to just do, so at this point for him, it was transitioning from I'm hustling for money to I want to give back. I want to work with young people. I want that energy around me. So I'm going to create a space where young people, young creatives can come in, Interestingly, I think Tolu, right? Yeah. At the time Ayodeji visited, that time you say you guys visited Abuja and I had my event. I was having it at the space that this man created. By the end of 2021, the space was set up. They were running community. They had hubs, for young people. They eventually did their movie. I think it's currently on Cover. It's called Love Lost and other things. And they're still going. They have the media business is booming. I'm consulting with them right now on a major national campaign. This is somebody that came from tech, didn't know jack about media, and is like, I want to do this stuff. Reached out to some of us who knew about comms and media, brought us on board, and we achieved things together. So I'm just saying the point I'm making here is that when it comes to vision boarding, sometimes people get stuck on I've put all my pictures, now my dreams are going to come true. No, it's not magic, right? Your dreams are only going to come true if you're clear on your goals, if you're clear on why those goals are important. And there's a third thing there. I said concrete action steps and built-in accountability. Now you have to, like I said, at some point, this man called me to say, look what I've done. What do you think? What do you think about this space? This, that, he asked me a question. So there was a bit of accountability involved, right, in that process, right? People that he felt we knew about the media and we could provide some advice for him and all of that. So that's something that you should not also undermine the place of accountability. You have to be able to, there are people that should know what you're working on and who should be able to ask you, where are you at? One of the things I'm doing this year is that I'm hosting masterminds. So I've said I have 2 cohorts of mastermind groups. If you don't know about mastermind, it's just, a group of peers. It's very important that it's peer-led. They come together. It's usually a small group, and then different people bring different is that something they're struggling with, something they need advice on, something around their work or whatever? They bring it to the group, and then everybody in the group gets to just help them brainstorm on it and give them ideas. They don't have to take it, but it just allows you to maximize, other brains, so to speak. So I'm doing that. So that's a form of accountability, right? Because if we do that, then if you bring a challenge to us and say, oh, I'm trying to set this up in my organization, or I'm trying to reach 10,000 people with this product, right? And we give you all of these ideas, we're going to ask you, so how far, So you must think as you're writing your goals, as you're figuring out what you want to do and all of that, you have to always ensure that you build in accountability. Because if it's just you, if it stops with you, the challenge with that is that the day that you're discouraged or the day that you're too sad or something, life will life, right? As we say, life will life, things will happen, right? So those days, if those people, if people don't know, if certain people around you don't know the things that you have said you were going to do, then they can't hold you accountable. So it's easy for you to just say, I beg, vibes and inshallah, and just move through the year. But that would not make you very fulfilled at the end of the day. So I think the point here is made. So I have a workbook. Ooh, okay. I hope you can still see that bit.ly link. It didn't quite come out as I hope you would. But before we delve into the workbook, I mean, you can screenshot it if you're able to, or you can just use the bit.ly link and type that in. So it's a workbook that I put together to help. We're going to walk through it on this call, but it's not something we won't have sufficient time to do it fully on the call. So I would just hope that after now we'll talk. You guys will go back home and go and do it, right? But I'll walk you through it on the call. But before we get to the workbook, right? What we're trying to achieve here today is for you to think holistically, right? So while this 6, I've put this framework together, they are not exhaustive, but they are the very popular parameters of framework that we use when we're setting goals, right? So for those who have set their goals and who are pretty confident, it's not foggy, it's almost there, but it's not quite there yet, you can check those goals with this, right? To say, oh, have I set goals around this? Because our lives it's one life with many different parts, right? So for those of us who are in school, I think whether you're in school or you're working right now, think career and professional development. Are you taking any courses this year? Is it just schoolwork, or are you able to intern somewhere? Are you able to volunteer somewhere to get more? But I'll go into this, right? But just on the surface, I just wanted to talk about this real quick. So career and professional development, health and wellness is also something that is very popular, that we need to be thinking about setting goals around. Relationships and community, I always, sometimes people forget to add this to their goals, but I always insist on it. And if you see my example before, you know that I'm very passionate about relationships and community. We must all come to the realization that we cannot do life alone, and we must intentionally build frameworks around how we are going to treat our relationships and community, right? Because there is if you're not aware, there is what's the word now? There's a loneliness thing going around, right? Our world is becoming very individualistic, right? So people are lonely, people are, don't even think that some of these things are abroad. I mean, I have had suicidal ideations in the past. I've had to go through therapy, right? And if you ask, a lot of people would say I have a pretty great life. So it didn't make sense to them why I would say, oh, I'm driving and I feel like just taking my hands off the wheels, right? So a lot of that is going on, which is why relationships and community, because for me, the people that saved me, okay, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but when I moved back to Nigeria, I had a huge depressive episode, right? And I was ready to just die at that time. This was 2018, and I've documented this publicly already. And one of the things that saved me was that I was living with my sister at the time, and I had a nephew who is on the autism spectrum. So he's not very talkative or anything like that. But every day this boy comes back from school, he's going to come into my room and just cuddle with me, right? If he's home on a weekend, you can trust that as he's waking up, he's coming into my room and he's cuddling with me. And I just, so every time I had that thought of, Bukola, take your life, what I would think about is, I don't want this boy to come in and find a lifeless body. So that's how community, relationship, family saved me, right? Just to make a huge point around this, because I'm very passionate about it. Financial well-being. Hey, you guys, especially for those that are working, we have to plan our money, right? So you must create goals around this. There's personal growth and learning. We're at that age where I don't care if, I'm not personally, I'm not a huge reader, right? So I wouldn't end the year saying, oh, I've read 10 books, right? But I would end the year saying, oh, I've listened to over 20 podcasts or even more. There are podcasts that I listen to every week. There are some that it's once in a while, all of that, right? So whatever style works for you, just make sure you're growing and you're learning, right? So you have to set goals around that as well. Then there's lifestyle and experiences. Please live, right? Don't make it just about work and money and, live. If you can afford to travel, whether within Nigeria or outside Nigeria, if it's something you're doing within your city, I set up a social club this year, right? So they're on WhatsApp and I'm saying, don't join my group if you're not in Abuja, right? Because we are painting the town red. And we have our first hangout sometime close to Valentine's Day. But anyway, so whatever that lifestyle and experience is for you, please make sure that you actually set goals around it so that at the end of the year, you can see if it worked out. So I want to hope that if you don't have the workbook already, the QR code is still there and the bit.ly link is still there. Can I just see in the chat real quick to see that everybody has got this? Because I want us to walk through it without vision. Oh, I just saw this chat. Okay. I want us to walk through it. I mean, I've put the picture up there to help, but I still would like if you can also kind of download it and have it with you as well, so you can work on it later. So when you show up for my vision, oh wow, 15 minutes, Lord. So so I've categorized this around certain what's it called now? Certain parameters, right? So I have career and professional growth, personal development and balance, impact and legacy. So I tell people when they show up for my sessions, it's always important to start with reflection. And you're kind of in my session now, but basically before you set goals, you have to look back to look forward, right? Don't be too quick to just set new goals, right? For those who have set goals already, make sure you go back to those goals and be sure that they are achievable. And if you guys have not heard it yet, I feel like it's been buzzing, but let me add my voice to, you don't need to set new goals. If you had goals in 2025 that you've not yet achieved, by all means, please bring them forward. It doesn't have to be new year, new you. It can be new year, old you, right? Just reiterating some of the things I've seen, right? Because I actually believe that, you don't always have to set new goals, but reflections are important, right? So you have to ask yourself. So some of the questions I have here, where are you in your career journey? If you're a student, right, you also want to apply this to yourself. I work a lot with professionals. So that's why this is, so I didn't create this for this session particularly. It's just something I use in my work. There's also what professional achievements am I most proud of from the past year? What skills do I want to be known for? What aspect of my work energize me versus drain me? This is just, I tell people this is a time to unmask and just be true to yourself because it's a personal thing. It's something that would help you know yourself better because self-awareness is key, but also would help you create goals that you can actually achieve, right? Because there's no point creating 10 goals or writing 20 goals and not being able to achieve even one, right? But if you do your reflections properly, then you come to a place where you're like, oh, I think I know what I should be focusing on in 2026, right? There's also personal development and balance. How aligned is my current life with my core values? You must know your core values. Let me just say that if you don't know it, please Google values and decide what are core values, because life will come at you. And when life comes at you, one of the things that will help you to keep standing, to stay focused, are your value systems, right? So if you don't have value system, much like not having a vision, you're going to be tossed everywhere and you're going to be nowhere, right? So you don't want to be that person. You want to be the person that says, I don't mind being the first person on the call. Don't be the person that say, I beg, go, me then join first, I go join later. You're not that person, and we all have different value system, but I think at the very least, all of us should have excellence, timeliness as part of our value system. So know your core values, and realize how your life is aligned to it. So if your life is, what's the English now? If your life is opposite of your core values, you can start to ask yourself, are you lying to yourself about what your values are? Or do you need to start making adjustments in your life, right? What am I tolerating in my life that I need to change? For some of us, procrastination is the order of the day, so just, again, I'm very weary of time, so I'm trying to run here. I like this question here. What would I do differently if I knew I couldn't fail? Some of us are afraid of starting things that are new, right? But there's no reason to be afraid of it. If you confront this question very well and you are honest with yourself, you will realize that, maybe you can embrace something new. Maybe you don't have to keep going on that career path. Maybe the fact that you're studying a particular course does not mean that you're stuck. Not everybody needs to be a content creator. Please, when are we going to have this conversation, right? It's okay that you don't want to be one. Don't feel pressured, so basically just think through that, right? Then there's impact and legacy. What impact do I want to have in my workplace, in your school, in your industry, your community? Who do you want to become in the next 3 to 5 years? So here you're really thinking about that. What resources, relationships, or support systems do you need to cultivate, right? There's something important I want to underscore here. I was on TV earlier this year. I was on an NTA show, NTA, I think it's called the Medley Show. And then there was a co-guest as well. And it shared something powerful that I've talked about on my LinkedIn, but I want to reiterate here, the power of gratitude, right? So if you have people in your life that have helped you, that have contributed to your life, right? You want to make a mental note of reaching out to them and thanking them, right? Don't be the person that waits until you need something before you reach out to people. Because what tends to happen is that when you do that, you most likely become top of mind for that person. And when there are other opportunities, guess who is the first person they'll most likely call? You, right? But you must create that. Don't be a give me type of person, because I know that sometimes when we're students or when we're just coming up in our career, we feel like, oh, I don't have anything to offer. But that's not true, right? You have something, you have time, right? So offer to help them with something if you guys have that kind of relationship. Or in certain cases, people have just helped you, right? And I'll tell you what I did personally. When the year ended last year, I listed all the people. I did a post called Count Your Blessings, and I listed all the people that helped me, whether to secure a job. I'm also an MC, so I got some huge MC gigs. I train people. So everybody that helped, whether the person said, oh, talk to Bukola, I made sure to do a public thank you and a private thank you to those people as well. So it's important, right? I don't have to ask them for anything, but I'm sure that if there was another opportunity that they think I could be a good fit for, my name will most likely come up, right? Because I went back to say thank you. So please be that person. Gratitude is key. And it would help to also keep mapping your resources and relationships as well. The last two questions are key. Just, when you imagine your life by December 2026, what does your typical day look like, right? So you have to be intentional in building that. And again, all these questions are reflections, right? We're still going to go to goals. And then there is, what emotions do I want to feel regularly in my ideal life? That's also something that is important. We undermine some of these things, or we think, but if I want to feel a type of way, I can condition my life to ensure that I always feel that way. But if I don't even know how I want to feel, how can I make it happen? Right? For instance, I know that if I don't clean my room, everything I do that week is not going to work out. Like, I will do stuff, but it will just not make sense because my room is not in order. Because if my room is not in order, it's telling me that my mind is not in order, right? So, but that's me personally, it might not apply to you. So it's very important that you ask yourself, what kind of, I like order works for me. I like peace. I like quiet. So those are some of the things I want to feel. I want to feel joy. So I need to ask myself, how can I cultivate that? You need to know. So I'm going to move on very quickly. Oh, Tolu, you're going to have to help me. But I'm going to run through this, right? We're not, again, I know we can't do this exercise right on this call, but please, I hope that you would download this resource and do it after now. So what I've done is some of those frameworks I mentioned at the somewhat at the beginning, a couple of slides back, right? So I created them here as categories. And then, in order to set SMART goals, so what I did was you have to account for, in all these categories, what is already going on well? What is it that people have said, you're doing well in this area. Top of your class, well done. Or Oku, you're always in the gym, well done. Whatever it is, right? Acknowledge it. I tell people, be proud of yourself. Go to town with it, right? Talk about what you're doing well in these areas. At the same time, talk about where you need improvement, right? Don't be shy. If you're doing well in your class, but some of the lecturers don't like you because maybe they think you are ITK, or maybe it's your classmates that don't like you. Maybe you're the course rep and they always feel like your own is too much. I don't know. I'm trying to flashback. I left university in 2011, so you can imagine it's been a minute. But so the point is, ask yourself, where do you need improvement? Be honest with yourself and document that as well, because that would then inform the goals that you want to set, right? So the places that you need improvement, you can set goals around them. You don't have to set goals on all the categories. If you want to, you can. You don't have to. Like I said, if you already have a goal that you are pursuing maybe in the last 2 to 3 years and you have still not achieved it, please bring it back here. You don't need to set new goals. If you already set your goals for the year and you really don't need this resource, I would just encourage you to check it with those goals and make sure that, it kind of works together, right? And this last column, I cannot emphasize it enough. Ask yourself, why does it matter? Because when everything else fails, the why is what will keep you going. If you don't know the why, trust me, life will life. And before you know it, you are not doing any gym. You're not calling anybody. You're just like, life is life right now. I can't stress myself, right? But you have to ask yourself, how is it that life lives? Sorry, I'm using this term a little too much. How is it that, things happen to all of us, right? But somehow some people persevere through that. Some people keep achieving their goals, while some of us, we just get stuck in the loop, right? I ask myself sometimes, what's the worst that can happen, right? When I think about the worst that can happen, I lose somebody that is dear to me, and it's going to feel like the waves. I'm using the example because I went for a burial today. Young woman, she was in my church. She died at 40, health complications. And, and I'm like, there's a temptation to want to shut down. You just want to, because this person was so dear to you, and like the person was so young. Why would this person die? The person has a child, has a spouse, and all of that. So those are some of the worst things that could happen to us. But when that happens, it's important that we grieve. It's important that we give ourselves time. But we must, if your goal is set up properly, you realize that you will still have a way to come back to it. And I'm trying not to sound insensitive because I know that, some of these topics are dicey, but I'm just saying, set up your goal in a way that is airtight so that your why is strong, right? Yeah, enough said about that. If you want to build a vision board, like I said, we're not doing it on this call, but if you want to do a physical one, I'm sure I put some pictures there to give you an idea. You get a poster board, you get old magazines, or you can print out from maybe Pinterest or Google or somewhere, get a glue, cut them up with scissors, put them on a board, use marker to write and all of that. You can also do it digitally, right? So you can use Canva, you can use Pinterest to source the pictures. You can design on PowerPoint, because I realize that some people don't, I hope that people here know how to use Canva, but some people might not know how to use Canva, right? So you can do that. And when you're designing, if you choose to do a vision board, always remember those 6 life categories that I shared before. Use images that evoke emotion, images that when you see it, even if you were sleeping before, you want to stand up. There's a place I put my vision board in my room, right? It's opposite my bed. So if I wake up and I see it like this, I'm like, when I want to sleep back, I'm like, oh, Tobe, you get up and you get to work, right? So because I've done the work on paper, right? The vision board are just pictures representing those words. So when I see those pictures, what I'm really remembering is what I've written down at the milestones that I've set for myself, right? And then, of course, words of affirmations are also very important, right? So these are some of the things that you can include on your vision board. But again, remember, we must do the hard work of reflecting, of setting SMART goals before we do vision board. Vision board is the last stage, right? The real work is in setting some of those things up. I saw this acronym. I mean, I was working with AI and all that, and I saw this acronym. I'm like, very good. I love it. So I decided to adopt it and I wanted to share with you, right? So just a practical framework. Because again, we all realize there's a January rush, or maybe I would even stretch it to like Q1 rush. So January, February, you're pumped up, but by April, that job has not come. This money did not come, and sudden disappointment might happen, right? And when that happens, what tends to happen is we just let go of our goals and we just start hustling, right? What I want you to try to do this year is don't be a hustler. Don't be the person that just does whatever. Be the person that is precise. Does it mean that you cannot be flexible? Yeah, of course you can be flexible. Remember when I gave the example of Hilda Bassi calling me to come and cook rice? I can cook rice with Hilda Bassi, but I know when I'm doing it, I'm intentional in my mind that, oh, Bukola, you're just having fun here. This has nothing to do with your goal. So I cannot invest, for instance, 5-10 hours into that and think that I've invested in my goal, or maybe it could be a relationship goal, but my point is you can be flexible. You can do other things. You can support people. You can help people. But don't forget your own vision. Don't forget your own goals, right? And this framework is simple. V stands for viewing it daily, right? I already told you in my own case, I have it on my bed, or in a place that I can see it from my bed very easily. If you're doing a digital one, you should put it on your phone, make it your screensaver. So every time you're opening your phone, you're looking at it. View it as often as possible. Integrate weekly. This is key, right? So the way I set up my goals, right? I don't necessarily interrogate my own goals weekly, but I thought that this was a good idea for those that can do it, right? Just pick a day in the week where you're like, oh, where am I at? Right. What I do instead is I do to-do lists. Right. So for the week, I have an idea of the things I want to do that week. And then at the end of the week, I'm checking, did I do this? Why didn't I? What can I do differently? Blah, blah, blah. And then you make adjustments, right? But again, think of your goals, look at them often, integrate, check in with yourself. For you, if it's to-do list, for you, if it's the list of goals, whatever works, right? Celebrate small wins, right? This is very key. So, you must, on the one hand, you must set up your goals in a way that, there are milestones. I gave you an example of if I'm trying to be top 5 public speakers in Nigeria, if I'm listed as number 90 something or number 80, do you understand? Have I achieved my goal? No. But I must understand that I've moved the needle a little.
I think I think Bukola's network is not active, or is it just me that can't see and hear? Can you confirm? Can you confirm if you can see her from my end? I can't. Is anyone able to access? Okay, I think she has dropped. So let's wait a little bit. She must have been having issues with her network. Can you hear me? Oh, okay, okay, all right. Yeah, she's not on the call. She dropped off. So let's just wait a bit. So we're still having issues with having Bukola back online. So why we're waiting for her? I believe we can recount some of the things we're learning so far, and I'm personally paying keen attention to amazing stuff she's speaking and she's sharing. So it's very important to note that when she started, she said you don't just have a goal or a vision. The very important part of setting goal is the why. Why is very crucial. So if there's no why to it, you can easily lose track of it. You can get tired of it. You can just slip through. It's often happen because January rush, New Year, New Me kind of stuff, and many stuff like that. But one of the things that is very key that keeps you going is the why. And I'm also seeing alternatives to actually creating your vision board. You don't necessarily have to use physical one. You can work with something digital or anything like that. So I want us to reflect on in the chat section. What is your take away so far? You can just reflect in the chat box. Drop the things you've learned so far. What you're able to pick from what she has shared, something that's really confirming or reaffirming what you know before, or something new you're just learning and all of that. Yeah, it would be lovely to actually to see those things. So let's do that on the chat now while we wait for her to rejoin. I believe it's just some sort of
Hi, Tolu.
internet
I'm back actually. Can you hear me?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm so
What's up?
sorry.
What's up?
I got locked out for some reason.
Oh,
Please,
I guess as
can
much.
you
I guess as much.
I guess give me sharing options. It's telling me sharing is not turned on.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that shortly.
Thank you.
Let me do
I'm
that.
so sorry, everyone. I don't know that doesn't usually happen. And I kept talking. It took me a minute to even realize that I was no longer on the call. Um, but we're almost done.
Yes, you have sharing option now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Please, can you tell me the last thing you heard? Because I'm like, oh, this will not work. Can you hear me? Can you let me know what you heard last?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can anyone in the chat? What was the last you learned? You
Yeah, so
had
I know where to pick up from. Let me see. Celebrate your small wins. Okay. Thank you very much, Victor. Yeah, or is it Bolale? Thank you. So I'll just pick up from there. Apologies again, everyone. So I was talking about small wins, and I hope you got the point I made about the two, right? On the one hand, add milestones to your goals, right? So while you're trying to achieve one big goal, you should also account for if this happens along the way, it would be an indicator that I'm getting there, right? So and when that happens, you know, um, celebrate it. Then I was talking about investing in accountability, right? So that's very important. Let people around you know what you're doing. If you can join an accountability group, or if it's as small as I know someone that would say, ask me every week, on this day every week, about this, right? So even if you're not giving your entire list of goals to people, right, you can just reach out to maybe like your best friend or a sibling or just somebody, right, that you can trust and knows as your best interest at heart, and say, hey, ask me about this, please. And, and person's like, okay. And hopefully they keep to it. Or you set up a Google Calendar or something, so that the person ensures that they actually ask you to say, hey, so where are you with this, right? I remember, I think a couple of years, I set up a mastermind group for myself. I was struggling at work, and I was getting into a bad place, mentally. So I brought in, I called them was a group of friends that I know they get things done, right? You all know those people. If you're being honest with yourself, you have the friends that they talk plenty, but they don't do much. And you have the friends that they might not even tell you anything, but they are constantly like rolling out wins, right? So I put a couple of them together, and I'm like, hey guys, I'm trying to figure this out. Work is bad. I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. And every Sunday we would have a meeting, and I would tell them what I'm working on that week. And then they will check in with me the next Sunday. How did it go? What did you struggle with? Blah, blah, blah. Accountability system. But as an example I wanted to give, there was a particular day that I had told them I was going to submit a particular document that I was working on. And one of my friends in the group called me every hour, right? Because I told them there was a deadline for that document. That document was important, blah, blah, blah. He will call me 9 a.m. Bukola Alpha, I'm still working on it. 10, Bukola Alpha, I'm still, do you get upward? So at some point, it stopped being about my office. It started being about me. I need me to stop calling me and beg. Let me just finish this thing. So accountability works. That's just the point I'm making there. Overcome obstacles, right? So you have to be able to overcome obstacles. You must account. Remember when I was saying that, think of the worst thing that could happen, and you need to, it's like, if anybody here has done project management, right, is analyzing your risks, knowing what could potentially go wrong, and saying, if this were to happen, I would do this, right? So I'm creating mitigations for those risks. And the last one talks about navigating and adjusting, right? So set up, I think at the very minimum, everybody should do quarterly reviews. We might not all be able to do the weekly one. We might not be able to do the monthly one. But at the very minimum, we should all do the quarterly one, where you're like, okay, 3 months have passed. What have I achieved? What did I say I was going to do? Because I set up my goals in quarters as well, right? Because it's easier than setting up one giant. All the times I've tried to set up giant goals, I realized I struggled. So now I've come to the point where I'm like, okay, in Q1, this is how much money I know is coming in. This is how much money I need to chase. How am I getting it? And break it down that way, right? So at the end of the quarter, by the end of March, I should find time to sit down and say, okay, this is what you said you'd have done by now. How far? What do you need to adjust? What do you need to do? So that's just the point here. So this is a framework that you can use just to ensure that you stay on top of your goals. Sorry, 1 second, I'm trying to change the slides. Okay, we're done. Awesome. I'm so sorry I took more time. But yeah, we can take questions now, or maybe reflections. Yeah, but I'm done. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tolu, for the opportunity. So I'm open to questions and reflections.
Right, thank you, Bukola. Wow, such an amazing session. I think you all should give a round of applause in the chat, or you use emojis. So impactful. It's a short one, but I kind of was screenshotting at different instances. Although I know I was not scared, because quite a number of people would want to also follow up with these slides. So we'd love to request if you could share the slide with us later. And while we're still talking about that, so like, do you have questions? Anyone have questions, or you want to probably reflect or confirm something she shared? Yeah, or you want to make a request, please, you can use the chats or you unmute yourself. Quickly, we have like about a few minutes
Good evening,
to attend to questions.
everyone. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I
Hello?
can. Hi, Precious. Yes.
Yes, I can hear
Fine.
you.
Well done. Thank you, sir. So, well done, ma'am. I'm so grateful for the class. So, there is something I want you to just give me clarity on the vision. You listed the different house. So, I want you to talk more about it. Just a little talk on it again so that I can hear it again.
Sorry, talk more about what exactly?
Vision, the
Oh,
meaning,
the
the word,
vision.
yeah.
Sorry, I just want
So,
to
can you,
move my slide there to be sure. Do you mean this slide that I'm showing now?
yeah. So, concerning the aspect of navigation and adjustment, that navigation, what have you said about it? I want you to expand it on the navigation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. It's essentially it's what is in brackets, right? So it's around quarterly reviews, right? So I'm saying don't wait till the end of the year to review your goals. I'm saying review your goals throughout the year. So if you can do some part of it daily, some monthly if you can, but most important, everybody needs to at least do it every quarter, right? So I'm saying at that point, you already have the goals that you said you were going to achieve. So by March, if you are saying you want to do a particular thing, there must be movement. So you are now sitting with yourself very honestly at that point to say, am I in the right direction? Am I going in the way that I can get this goal done? Who do I need to reach out to? What have I not done? So essentially, navigation is just around thinking through that goal again, asking yourself, if it's done, pat yourself on the back, rejoice, go celebrate. But if it's not done, ask yourself, at the rate at which you're going, is it likely to get done? Right? If not, what do you need to do? How can you pivot? And in some cases, maybe your why is not strong enough, right? I used to tell people that for a long time, weight loss was about fitting into certain dresses, right? I want to look a type of way. But the day I showed up at the hospital and they're like, Auntie, I think you might be dying with this your fatness. At that point, it's now more than just I want to look good, right? So there are some goals that you might need to tweak when you're doing that review to say, oh, wait, this is not even why. So it stops being about something, it starts to be about something else and all of that. So it's just a point for you to stop and check how you're doing with those goals. That's essentially what that is. So if you need to adjust anything, you adjust it. If you're doing well, if you're on track, you stay on track, right? If you've achieved it, wonderful, right? So it's just a stop and check how you're doing. Yeah. I hope that clarifies.
Yes, ma. Thank you, ma. God bless you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Any other question? Check the chat.
Oh, wow. Yeah, thank you. So I didn't even realize that my sister was in call. That's actually my eldest. That's so
Oh,
beautiful.
nice.
Yeah, when you were talking about people who get stuff done, like you have people around that, well, her name came to mind. So it's so
Oh,
nice.
nice. Oh, that's
So
good.
yeah, thank you for that response. Do we have any other question? Anybody else? You have questions, or you could actually reflect. Oh, this was what Bukola said, and I think this confirms or affirms this and all of that. Yeah, this is an opportunity for you to actually ask questions. Any question, you could use the chat or you unmute yourself. So while we're waiting for any question to come up, thank you, Bukola, for actually sparing your time to actually share these things with us. And like I requested earlier, I would love to have your these slides. And I think I omitted this along our communication channel when I was speaking with sharing. I sent the scope of the event to you. Well, you mentioned something about the few things you do and all of that. So it would be great if there's some programs you really feel like it's very beneficial to anyone here, uh, and all of that, I could actually promote to the community, share with our community as well. Like, oh, this something Bukola Shaba does, and you could actually be of a good it could be a good help and all of that. And yeah, you could share that along with the slides so that any other person can also jump on it. Because of course, this is a very short session. So any other person wants to really extensively explore vision coding and all of that, we can make good use of that platform. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I mean, I don't, all the things I have are in closed groups right now. But yeah, if I do have anything that can be open to the general public, I'll definitely share. Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, I'm still waiting. Do we have questions? Or I assume that the entire session was just amazing, clear,
Mhm.
very explanatory. Any question? Any questions at all? Okay, let me check the chat. Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay, so that means we have no questions. So you
Sounds
have
like it.
you're so clear. So thank you so much. Thank you very much for coming on. And yeah, keep in touch. And of course, we'd love to have you back in different at different times and all of that. And also work together to do amazing stuff together. Yes, and also yeah, even beyond webinars and all of that. So thank you so much, Bukola, for joining us on the webinar
Thank
today.
you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for staying on the call, for your comments, for your questions. And I just want to say, before I go, your vision is your responsibility. Your goals are entirely up to you, so please be mindful of yourself, if that makes sense, right? So don't leave anything to chance, right? You can draw, or figure out how your life will go to the most part. I mean, we propose and God does his thing, right? But at least be found proposing, and leave the rest to God. So yeah, I just want to say that. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. Your goals are up to you. That's amazing. Thank you so much. All right. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining. And it's so beautiful to have everyone on the call. If you're joining Zoom or you're joining on YouTube or you're watching this again, and I think I should encourage you guys, even though you are attending on live, you should watch share the watch link on you so that you can watch on YouTube, share it again on the community. So go ahead and watch. And of course, Ripple Africa is it's not just we are not just about okay, this is what we sell or this is what initiatives we have and all of that. We are very heavy on clarity. You having clarity as a person, either you're a student or a professional, and also having development along that line of career clarity. Either you want to have cognitive development or professional development, and that's what we do here in South Africa. And I want to reiterate this. I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, but for clarity, if you are here and you still like, oh, this tendencies, I really want to know if I should go deeper in this my career path, or you want to see more parts you can explore, you should go ahead and check out our career personality test on our website. We're going to share the link as well again. So it's on www.greatplusafrica.com. So you definitely find it very useful. It's useful for students if you are probably a parent or a sibling, an elderly sibling, and you have younger siblings that should make use of that, trying to figure out what they want to do in probably academically, or you are even a student already, you're looking at after graduation, what should I go pursue? Or you're already professional, you just want to expand more on the knowledge of to expand into your industry, but you want to know the niche that works well for you. But generally, just understand yourself, understand your strength, your weakness, and all of that. That test is good for you. It's African tailored. It's something tailored to the African context. And all of that is something very, very helpful. You should check it out. Angela just will drop the link on the community group as well for you to check it out. And apart from the test, of course, we have other courses. This is vision boarding, and we're hoping that even as soon as possible, we should have a comprehensive course on vision boarding on our website, and hopefully, probably we can we can have Bukola on board on that. But apart from this, we have other courses that you could explore on our website. Courses on cognitive development, courses on professional development, introducing you to different career paths and all of that, and courses just to improve your mental capacity to be the best person for that career niche you're exploring. So you should check it out. It's also on that website. So and I believe Angela just will drop the link on the community group as well. So if there's anything at all you need us to help you with, we have personal consultation options for people who want to consult for career clarity and also career development. You want to probably have someone, a consultant, walk through through your career path for you. You're like, okay, this is my career goals, but I just need someone who has experience in that regard to walk through that process, and then of course, like accountability structure, a personalized stuff like that is available with Great Plus Africa. We introduced that December last year, and it's something that we've had people go through that process, that talk to someone and get stuff like that. It's something you should consider. If you need that, you can also Angela just also share that link, but you can always send a DM to him and get more options in that regard. Yeah. So anything at all you need for your career development, career success is where they're good to go. You can always send a DM to the community manager. So yes, so it's so good to have you here. Apologies for the baby sound in the background, of course. It's a beautiful thing to have children around. So yeah, it's a beautiful now we have you guys here. So at we'll see, of course, next month for another webinar or masterclass that we're hosting, and any other person that's hosting at that point, I mean, it may not be the person hosting. We'll be glad to see you guys come on board again. So yes, do well to have an amazing rest of your weekend, if I can say. Yes, yes. So yep, thank you guys for joining. Bye bye. So I want to see everyone say something in the chat. Can say hi, bye, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Josiane, for joining. And I can see Josiane in the chat. I can see Victor. Yes, I see Tokbe. Oh, awesome. Amazing. Yes. Thank you guys for joining. So thank you. Awesome. Yes. Any other person I'm meeting? I see Tulua logo. Yeah. Amazing. Yes. Thank you for joining, Amolola. Thank you. And yes, Mrs. Precious. Thank you for joining. I didn't know you had the call before. That's awesome. So yes, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye bye, everyone.